Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 9 of NFL Game Picks. And this week so I looked at some of the games, not so much. A lot of teams that are not so good against are facing each other. But before we get into anything, let's go over our stats in the sense of how many wins we have. And last week I went 9-5, and that puts me on top at 77-42. What about you guys?
Yeah, I went a great 5-9 last week, so my worst week of the season. The Titans also lost to the Bengals, so it made it even worse. But hopefully I can bounce back this week. I'm now in last place because I was so bad last week. Picked a lot of upsets. A lot of upsets did not happen. I picked the wrong upsets, so hopefully I can bounce back and regain at least the top spot this week.
Yeah, I'm tied with at first as well. I went 8-6 for the second week in a row. A lot of games last week could have gone either way, but looking to bounce back this week.
Yeah, I'm also tied for first, 77-42, went 8-6 in the week, and hopefully sitting on top by myself next week.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Price did take a big hit last week. But nonetheless, what do you guys think of week 8 action? Tua had his first start. He didn't look so great, but the team around the Dolphins, around him, just everyone played great besides him.
Yeah, a lot of good teams lost last week. I mean, Packers lost to the Vikings. Rams got blown out by the Dolphins. The Browns lost to the Raiders. Titans, went to Cincinnati and lost to the Bengals. So you just saw a lot of good teams, and the Bucks almost lost to the Giants on Monday night. I mean, the Giants were back in that game. So you just saw a lot of good teams have bad weeks. And I think every year there's always that one week, but I did think that it kind of solidified the contenders in the league, like Chiefs, Seahawks, Bucks, Steelers, and then it's kind of the rest of the pack. So
Thursday night football game, we have the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. And this game, I bet at the beginning of the year, it looked great on paper. And then now the San Francisco 49ers are dealing with so many injuries. It's honestly ridiculous. Just to add to the list now, they have Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle pretty much out for the year. Jimmy Garoppolo's out for 6 weeks, but pretty likely you're not going to see him for the rest of 2020. With that being said, I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I have no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers could easily beat this depleted San Francisco 49ers team. What about you guys?
yeah, I'm taking the Packers also. I just think overall they're the better team. They'll have a bounce back game against like you said, depleted 49ers team. I also don't think Jimmy G will be the quarterback there next year. I think that there's going to be better options out there, whether it's free agency or late in the draft, that they could upgrade at that position. So I think they'll evaluate Nick Mullins the rest of the year and maybe see if he could be the guy. But yeah, for this game, I'm gonna roll with the Pack on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers as well. But after free agency just ended, I'd be pissed off if I was a Packers fan, honestly. There's so many elite wide receivers they could have gone after to get Aaron Rodgers some help. Some linebackers, but they got nobody, so I'd be kind of mad. If anybody was to beat the Packers, it'd be a running team, so San Francisco might have a shot because Green Bay can't stop the run. We saw that last week, but I don't think they have enough, so I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers too. I mean, that 49ers team is banged up. I think both teams are dealing with COVID issues, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Green Bay is just the healthier team. San Francisco is it's a rough year for them. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
Yeah, the 49ers, I believe, had to close down their facilities on Wednesday because of some COVID-related stuff. But, I mean, it wasn't really hard a game to pick from this one. The next one we have is the Baltimore Ravens at the Indianapolis Colts. Both teams are 5-2. And, yeah, this game is good. It's good. Obviously, the Ravens lost to the Steelers last week, and the Colts put a beating on the Detroit Lions. We're gonna do scores for this one because I think this is one of the good matches of the week. And I'm gonna go with Ravens on this one, and I have them winning 27-23. I think it could be a close game as long as Phillip Rivers doesn't throw too many turnovers.
Yeah, I think you're looking at two of the best defenses in the AFC. The Colts defense has been really good, and they're really an underrated team this year. I know they have a bad loss to the Jags, but after seeing the Packers and Titans also have a bad loss, I think that they can be in that almost contender conversation. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this game, 20-17. I think Justin Tucker will hit a late field goal to win it. But this is probably going to be the game of the week. Both of these defenses are good, and both of these offenses have been struggling this year. So, but I'm going to take the Ravens. I think their defense will have a little better impact on Phillip Rivers than the Colts defense on the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. Even though honestly, I haven't really been impressed with Lamar this year, not as nearly as much as we were last year with his MVP season. I think he's going to struggle against the Colts defense because he's struggled last week against Pittsburgh. But I think they tough it out in the end. I have Baltimore 34-27.
Yeah, I got Baltimore winning this one too. I got them winning 31-21. I'm going to predict that Phillip Rivers has a bad game against this Baltimore defense. And I just think Baltimore's a more talented team. And I don't think Indianapolis is as good as their record states, but I think we'll find that out later in the season. So I'm going to go Baltimore 31-21.
Nice. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to just go Kansas City. I mean, they're going to continue to beat on people. I mean, obviously they played the Jets last week, a winless team, but they absolutely destroyed them. And I wouldn't say they're going to destroy the Carolina Panthers, but they're going to put a beating down on them. Teddy Bridgewater got a pretty nasty hit against the Falcons last week. And I'm expecting him to play, but I don't think he's going to be performing to his very best.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs at home also. But look for this game to be a little bit closer than what people think. The Panthers are a team who have played good against good teams, and they've played bad against bad teams. So I think they'll be a lot better than they were against the Falcons last week on Thursday night. But I just think overall the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs. I wouldn't really bet against them at home against anybody. I'm not going to bet against them at home against Carolina, so pretty easy call here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one too. I don't think it's going to be that close a game. I mean, the Panthers, I think they showed Christian McCaffrey back this week, but I see Kansas City rolling, especially at home.
Yeah. The next game we have is another interesting possible game of the week type of games. We have the Chicago Bears at the Tennessee Titans, and Chicago's 5-3, and then Tennessee's 5-2, and we're doing scores for this one as well. And honestly, with the trade that they just did for King from the Chargers for Tennessee Titans, I think that was a huge trade that was much needed. They needed help in the secondary. And I think that he's not going to play this week, but he's going to be very good down the line for this Tennessee Titans team. I have the Titans winning 28-20, and it's going to be a close one. We'll see who starts for the Bears.
Yeah, we made the trade for Desmond King. Only gave up a 6th-round pick, but it's for the rest of this year. There is a possibility he could play this week. The earliest he would be able to hit the practice field is Saturday, so I think it's highly unlikely he plays. But also we get Adoree Jackson back, who's been out all season. He was our number one corner coming into this season. So hopefully we can get him back, and that'll help out our secondary. And I think our secondary got better because we cut Jonathan Joseph. So that'll definitely help a lot. But I'm going to take the Titans at home in a close game. I'm going to say Titans 31, Bears 27. I still don't think our run defense can stop anybody. Our pass defense has been much better against good receivers. And the Bears are a good team, but I just feel like our offense will be able to put up enough points against this Bears defense. And hopefully our defense will play better this week. So Titans 31, Bears 27.
Yeah, this is a fun matchup for this week. My team versus Bryce's team, so that's always fun. It's so frustrating being a Bears fan right now. Matt Nagy, can we get some play calling, please? Like, can we throw the ball more than 2 yards on 3rd and 8? Like, I don't understand it. We don't make any moves. We don't get any offensive help. I'm not 100% convinced that we have a quarterback problem. I'm now convinced we have a head coaching problem. I don't know what Nagy's thinking, man. I have the Bears winning because bear down, baby, 2017. But I'm not sold on Nagy right now.
Yeah, I got the Titans winning. Tennessee's defense hasn't looked great. Chicago's offense hasn't looked great, so I want to see which side that favors. But I think Derrick Henry's going to run the ball all over this Bears defense, even though the Bears have a pretty good defense. But I'm going to take Tennessee 24-17.
Next, we have the Denver Broncos at the Atlanta Falcons. And Atlanta just got their second win against the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. And the Broncos, they've been dealing with some injuries, but they've been looking good. And they just got a comeback win against the Chargers last week. I do think the Broncos are riding a little bit hotter than the Falcons are at the moment. So I'm going to ride with them. But this is one of those games like it's a coin flip and it could go either way.
I'm going to take the Broncos. I watched that Broncos-Chargers game last week, and they play great in the second half, but they get down so far in the first half. I think if they get down in the first half, this Falcons defense has shown that they can choke games away. So, it's nothing for the Broncos to come back. But I think the Broncos go out here, and I think they get up early. But look for this to be a high-scoring game, back and forth. But I'm going to roll with the Broncos on the road here.
We're going to go with Atlanta in this one. I don't think either team is very good. They're both dealing with some injuries. I just think Atlanta's figuring it out slowly. I don't think they're as bad as their record shows. So I'm going to roll with Atlanta here. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Ridley. Hopefully they can figure it out and defense can play, but we'll see.
I agree with everything Chris just said. I'm going to take the Falcons also. I think ever since they fired their coach, they've just had it rolling. So, Denver played a good game last week, but I'm going to take Atlanta this week at home.
Interesting. Next, we have the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions are 3-4. They just lost to the Colts last week, and the Vikings had a crazy win against the Green Bay Packers last week to improve their record to 2-5. I'm not too sold on this Vikings team, though. They did have that good win last week, but I don't think they can continue carrying it over into this week against the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions are just a slightly better team than them, and Matthew Stafford is a way better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, so I think he'll outplay him this week.
Yeah, interesting. Kenny Galladay is probably going to be out for the Lions, so it's Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, and Marvin Hall. I think what we saw from this Vikings team last week is when they can run the ball well with Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins doesn't turn it over, they can win games, and they beat arguably a top 3 team in the NFC. So I'm just going to roll with the Vikings. I think coming off that win last week, they got everything together, and that they're going to be able to put enough stuff together to beat the Lions this week, who are I think they're going to be out with Stafford and Kenny Galladay. So, I'll take the Vikings at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota as well. Galladay and Stafford out is not looking good, and I don't think the Lions are very good to start with, so I'm going to roll with Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Minnesota also. Stafford having COVID definitely affects my pick, and not always pick Detroit. But, I can't even name Lions backup quarterback, so I'm going Minnesota.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Stafford being out, and so did about Kenny Galladay as well. So with that being said, I am switching over to the Vikings. Stafford is that much of a difference for me in this situation. I mean, with him at quarterback position for this team, he's a lot better than the probably second best option they have, and he's obviously better than Kirk Cousins. So with him out, the Vikings can do a lot better. Next, we have the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. both teams are 1-6, and they're fighting for possibly number one seeds, even though the Texans have given their first-round pick to the Dolphins for this year. And I think the Texans are a better team than the Jaguars. I mean, the Jaguars just had that week 1 win against the Colts. It's pretty much stunned everyone. Everyone thought they were tanking, and then they haven't won a game since. So I'm going to keep on banking on them losing games, and I think just the Texans are a better team than the Jaguars. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans on the road. I just think when you look at both teams, Gardner Minshew out for the Jaguars, so that's obviously going to hurt. I'm going to have to rely on James Robinson more in the run game. And Deshaun Watson's a good enough quarterback to where even if he has nothing around him or no DeAndre Hopkins, he can still win you 4 to 5 games a year. They beat the Jaguars earlier this season. I think they'll beat them again convincingly. So I'm gonna roll with the Texans on the road.
Yeah, I'm going Houston as well in this one. I'm pretty sure Minshew's out with a thumb injury, and that Jaguars defense is just terrible. So hopefully Deshaun Watson has a field day and starts throwing some touchdowns.
As much as I would love for Jacksonville to win this game, for Houston to just have a terrible pick, I'm going to roll Houston because they're the better overall team. They should win this game pretty easily. Minshew being out, I'm going to take Houston.
That takes us to our next game. We have the New York Giants at the Washington football team. And the Giants had a close but no cigar game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it came down to a 2-point conversion that there was a pass interference call on it, but it got called back, and the Buccaneers ended up winning the game. With that being said, I do think they have a better chance at beating the Washington football team than they did the Buccaneers last week. So I'm going to roll with the Giants. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington at home. I think the Bucs just had a bad week, like a lot of good teams, and played down to the competition, maybe just not motivated to play against the team that was 1-6. But I'm going to take Washington at home. I just feel like that their defense is going to be able to contain Daniel Jones. And I mean, Washington's still in the NFC East right now. I believe they're second behind Philadelphia. And their 2 wins are against the Eagles and the Cowboys. So Washington is still in this NFC East, and I think they pull out their 3rd win on Sunday against the Giants.
Yeah, Washington is in second place so far. I'm going to go with Washington. I think I agree with what you were saying, Bryce. I think Tampa just played down to the Giants' level. It was an off week for them. I don't think the Giants are any good at all. And I think that front line on Washington is going to get after Daniel Jones and create some turnovers. So I think Washington wins this one at home.
I was going to take Washington, but hearing you guys take Washington, I'm going to take the Giants. Need to move up in the rankings, and Daniel Jones had a decent game last week, so I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, this next game is probably one of the most interesting games in the 1 o'clock slate. We have the 6-1 Seattle Seahawks and the 6-2 Buffalo Bills, and Seattle's coming off a bye, and the Bills. The Bills. They're doing good. I'm not too happy for the success as a Dolphins fan, but I got to give credit where credit is due, and the Bills are looking pretty good. But I do think Seattle can win this game. It really hinders on their success on defense. Obviously, Russell Wilson's going to perform well, and Josh Allen's going to have himself quite a game too, because Seattle's defense isn't known to be the best right now. But if Seattle can hold off, because I think this is going to be a very close game, if they can hold off at the last possession or two, I think Seattle leaves this game with a win.
Yeah, so Seattle, I believe, gets Carlos Dunlap this week for his first game after they traded for him from Cincinnati. Seattle traveling across the country, I think they'll get off to a slow start. But I think second half they'll really get clicking. This Bills defense is actually not that great. We've seen basically every team they've played able to put up points and hang with them, and we saw them not look good against the Jets. So I'm going to take Seattle here on the road, but I think this is going to be one of the better games of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the best games of the week as well. I am going to go with Seattle. on the road in Buffalo. This is a possible MVP matchup against Allen and Wilson, and I just really like Russell Wilson right now in this one, so I'm going with Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle too. I don't think Buffalo's been playing great the last couple of weeks. They've won their games, but I'm going to take Seattle. I trust Russell Wilson more than Josh Allen, and I think these are both really good defenses. But I'm going to pull with Seattle here. I just have a gut feeling.
Yeah, the Bills haven't been very convincing in the last couple of weeks, so I can understand why pretty much all of us did not pick them. Next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers, and man, what a heartbreaker for the Chargers. They were winning big against the Broncos last week, and they ended up losing. And then, I mean, I like this Raiders team, but I also like this Chargers team. But I'm going to just have to go with the Raiders. I think they're the better team. They can close out games better than this Chargers team can, definitely 100%.
Yeah, the Raiders are the second best team in the AFC West. But, man, I don't know. I love this Chargers offense, man. The way Justin Herbert's been playing, Keenan Allen has been great for him. And I don't think they get Austin Eckler back this week, but with their committee running back for that, a good week last week against the Broncos. The Raiders may be the better team, but I'm taking the Chargers. I don't know. I have a gut feeling the Chargers going to win this week. I just feel like Herbert's going to ball out. And I don't see the Raiders defense stopping this Chargers offense, but also don't see the Chargers defense stopping the Raiders offense either. So I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to take the Chargers late.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Chargers as well. I really like Herbert as well. I think he might be one of the better quarterback out of that draft class, possibly. And I really like what they're doing with the young team, but I just don't know how many large leads Anthony Lynn can blow and still keep his job. I do like him as a head coach, but he's blown a lot of leads so far this year, and I'm just not certain how many more he can blow before he gets fired. I am going to go ahead and take the Chargers in this one, but I'm not for sure. The Raiders have beat some good teams like Kansas City, Cleveland, and the Saints, but I'm taking the upset with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders. I think the Chargers are the West Coast Falcons. They just can't hold on to the lead. But I really like what I've seen from Justin Herbert so far. I think the Raiders are the best team in that division by a good amount. Oh, yeah, I'm kidding. Kansas City's in that division. Never mind. But I'm going to take the Raiders. I think they're the better overall football team, and I don't see the Chargers winning this game.
Yeah, into response to Chris, I don't think Anthony Lynn is too much on the hot seat. I think he has one more year of, if he doesn't do good, then he'll be on the hot seat. I think his job is secure for this season. I think he's a pretty good coach. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Arizona Cardinals, and Miami got a big win against the LA Rams last week. I mean, did it in all phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And then the Arizona Cardinals had a huge win on Sunday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks in an overtime game, which was – honestly, I was so happy that game was flexed into Sunday Night Football that week. But they had a bye week last week, so they're a little bit rested up. It's going to be a tough game. I don't fully expect the Dolphins to win, even though I'm picking them. I mean, they're playing one of the best offenses in the league in the Arizona Cardinals. So, with that being said, I think it's going to be like very close, like a 2-point game, 32-30. Dolphins come out with a nail-biter of a win. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this game is interesting for me because I think this Dolphins defense is set up to stop teams more with a traditional style offense like the Rams. Just a traditional run team and then a third down passing team. and this Cardinals offense is more that spread offense. So I don't think the Dolphins defense is set up to do that. But if you can rush the quarterback, you got a very good chance to win the game. And that's what we saw last week. Van Ginkel for the Dolphins getting pressure, Emmanuel Ogbah, Shaq Lawson all in the backfield. And that's what you want to see. So if they can get pressure on Kyler Murray, I think they have a really good shot. But I don't see anybody in secondary stopping DeAndre Hopkins or even slowing him down. I'm going to take the Cardinals. But I think that the Dolphins' defense, if they get pressure, could win this game. But if they want to hang in this game, Tua has to play better than he did last week because he got away with it against the Rams, but I don't see him getting away with playing that bad against the Cardinals 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the Dolphins game last week. I was very underwhelmed by Tua. I didn't think he played good at all. And in response to what you were saying, Austin, you said you guys were getting it done on all cylinders on offense. You guys passed for 90 yards, and you rushed for 55. That might be good for a quarter, but that's not good for an entire game. So I don't really understand how you think you're going to win when you can't even put up over 250 yards. But with that being said, I have the Cardinals winning big, 34-17. Tua might be the fourth best quarterback in that draft. We'll see.
So I don't think you can look at stats for that game because my news on defense a lot because they had won the defensive touchdown and they also had the special teams touchdown. So I think those numbers kind of skew that a little bit. But Tua definitely didn't play great, but I think the play call is very conservative for him. It was a lot of little short passes, short looks. And I think they were easing him into his first start. The defense helped him out and all that. I want to pick Miami. I'm going to pick Miami because I'm going to go with a homer pick. But it's going to be a tough matchup going up to Arizona. I think Arizona wins at 27-24. I think Tua plays a lot better than he did the first game.
Yeah, I forgot my scores. Cardinals 31, Dolphins 20.
Response to Chris's criticism. It's like what you said. I mean, the defensive scores kept the defense out on the field. So some of those scores could have easily been, offensive scores. I mean, we did it on both everything. We rushed the ball, threw the ball for a touchdown. So, I mean, I don't know where this criticism is coming from, Chris, all right? Let's get out of here with that. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Dallas Cowboys. Pittsburgh is 7-0, and then Dallas is 2-6, and honestly looking like one of the worst teams in the league, especially not having Dak Prescott. Andy Dalton got a concussion, and then he just got COVID-19. And then Ben DiNucci didn't really look too good against the Eagles. I mean, the pressure was in his face every single snap. And then they activated Cooper Rush off their practice squad. Easily, I'm taking the Steelers by 100. What about you guys?
Cowboys are getting the Jets treatment now. They suck. I'll pick against them every week from here on out. They're playing the best team in the league right now in the Steelers. And if Ben DiNucci was under that much pressure against the Eagles on Sunday night, I can only imagine what his day is going to look like. I mean, I'm honestly scared for the man. Like, I'm honestly praying that he just doesn't get killed out there and they're picking up his limbs piece by piece because TJ Watt, 6 sacks on the year, Stephon Tuitt, 6 sacks, Cam Hayward, Bud Dupree has 6 sacks. Like, these dudes hit quarterbacks, and the Cowboys can't protect the quarterbacks. So I'm Steelers by 100, man.
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy. I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. The Cowboys aren't very good. I was pretty certain that I thought they were going to deal Amari Cooper at the deadline and try to get some picks, but they didn't end up moving him. So I'm not really sure what they're doing, but yeah, easy pick. Pittsburgh's going to be 8-0.
Yeah, so this is my upset of the week. No, I'm playing. No, I'm going to take the Steelers by 100. I mean, it shouldn't be a close game. I feel bad for whoever's playing quarterback for Dallas. Steelers by 100.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for them. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers barely escaped Monday Night Football against the Giants with a win. And the Saints, I mean, they're the Saints. They've been good for quite a while, and they're going to continue to be good as long as Drew Brees is under center. So Saints are 5-2, and the Buccaneers are 6-2. And Antonio Brown is going to make his first appearance as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And I'm expecting him to do good. I mean, he's a really good wide receiver. Obviously, has some personality issues and character issues. But if he keeps that all under control, I feel like he can have a really good comeback. And I have the Saints losing to the Buccaneers 32-37. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucs at home. Final score of 35-31. I'm comparing this AB to the Bucs situation a lot like how Rodman to the Bulls was with Jordan, because when Rodman would be in Vegas, they would send Michael, be like, "Hey, Michael, go get Rodman. Tell him we're playing basketball." So, AB living with Tom. So I think that's going to be good for him. Tom can grab him by the neck and be like, "Yo, AB, we got to play football now." So, so I think that'll be good. I got huge expectations for AB. I mean, people forget it was literally him, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins were the three best receivers in the league at the end of that 2019 season or 2018 season with the Steelers. So, I mean, he was one of the top receivers in the game. But, yeah, for this game, I'm going to roll with the Bucs. I just don't think the Saints are that good. I don't think their team is a great reflection of their record so far.
Yeah, I agree, Bryce. I don't think the Saints are very good either. And I think that Bucs defense is elite. I think they're top 5. I don't think the Saints have any weapons, really. All the wide receivers are hurt. So I have Bucs winning 35-23.
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay winning this one too. I'm going to take them 34-20. Just the weapons they have, it's ridiculous at this point, and we're with one of the top defenses in the league. I don't think the Saints are as good as their record shows. I mean, they struggled last week against Chicago. But, yeah, I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and the Saints are getting Michael Thomas back this week, which is going to help out Drew Brees a lot. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Buccaneers are just going to have a way better game. But I do expect it to be close. It should be a pretty evenly matched game, besides Tampa being a little bit better on the offensive side of the ball. Now, when we look at Monday Night Football, we have the New England Patriots at the New York Jets, and we can already write off this game as one of the worst games of the year, I think, because the Patriots are looking horrendous, and then the Jets are the Jets. So, that being said, can we pick a tie on this one? No, I'm kidding. I'm going with the Patriots, obviously. But who knows? Bill Belichick said this is the best. Jets look better than they did last year, and they had a couple more wins than they do now. So we'll see.
I will say it is harder to go 0-16 than it is to go 16-0, in my opinion. I mean, it's hard. To me, it's harder to lose every game than just go out there and dominate every game. If there was a game that the Jets could win, I think it's this one. Now, I said it's harder to go winless than undefeated, but this Jets team is that bad that they could go winless. But real talk, though, I think that Sam Darnold will probably play a lot better against this Patriots team. They're not very good. Their offense is terrible. So I honestly think this is going to be a very close game. I'm going to give the Patriots the edge just with coaching. But, I mean, it's going to be a close game. Definitely not a watchable game, but a close game.
Yeah, Bryce, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. If the Jets were going to win a game, it would be this game. So I'm rolling with the Jets for the first time this year. Going with the upset, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets all day. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't think Gilmore's going to play. Patriots have looked terrible. Cam Newton looks awful. Let's go Jets, baby.
I guess Chris doesn't want to stay on top of the leaderboards, but I'm going to take the Patriots. Yeah, the Jets are the Jets. I would trust Bill Belichick over Adam Gase any day of the week. And I think Cam Newton didn't have a bad game last week. Didn't have a great game, but I think he plays all right this week. I'm going to take the Patriots.
This will be the ultimate Bill Belichick move to pretty much snatch the first overall pick from the Jets by letting them beat the Patriots. So how about that? Anything else you guys want to mention? We have a couple seconds to say stuff. So if you guys want to get anything off your chest about Week 9, anything we couldn't really dive into, go ahead.
Patriots and Cowboys are starting their tank. The Patriots have 2 wins. They play the Jets twice during the rest of the season. They could lose every game, let the Jets win those 2 games, and then have a higher pick than them. So it is very possible that Bill Belichick gets his tank for Trevor, tank for Fields sweatshirt on. And the Cowboys also. I think the Cowboys could also end up with the top 5 picks, so watch out for that. Few good games this week, a lot of bad games, but I just can't wait for my Titans to whoop up on Chris's little Cubs up there and from Chicago.
It's gonna be a good game. I'm excited, but I'm not excited about hanging out with you after the Titans lose for the 3rd straight week. It's not gonna be very much fun, but there's some good games. I'm really, honestly, my most exciting game is the Raiders and Chargers, just because I really want to watch Justin Herbert. I really do think he's going to be probably the best quarterback out of that draft. He was the highest rating one going into the year. They were tanking for him, and then it switched to Joe Burrows, but we'll see. Hopefully Tua has a better week for you guys.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Tua does this week. I mean, that Rams defense they're legit. Terrified that first time Aaron Donald hit Tua. Thought he snapped him in half, but no, I mean Arizona's defense isn't as good. Let's see if they take more shots down the field. The game plan the first week was way too conservative. Like Changeli is 80 years old. It looked like 40s type football. So let's see if they fix that this week.
Yeah, I think they will open up the playbook a little bit more for Tua this week. And when it comes to playing that Cardinals team, yeah, they have like an air raid spread type of offense. But Kenyon Drake is out. I forgot to mention that. And he was pretty much their leading running back. Chase Edmonds is no scrub, though, so he's going to be a solid guy to fill in for him. And when it comes to defense facing that offense, I feel like they're confident in at least limiting them. I wouldn't say completely stopping them, but they would limit them some success. And, yeah, I really do think the Patriots are trying to do this little tank job. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But with all that being said, that's about it. Last but not least, let's mention NFL Game Picker. If you haven't checked them out yet, check out NFLGamePicker.com to do all your NFL Game Pick needs. And lastly, fins up.